welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report on a two-time Tuesday.
Wow.
It's Barnes and Tony once again. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, dude. Happy to be here on this two-time Tuesday, dude. Yeah, it's going to be a good show today. I'm pumped. Capitals lost, whatever. Rangers game tonight. Let's go, dude. Pumped.
By the way, there is something that you say, and I just obviously said it wrong there. What do you usually say for Tuesday? There's
Two for Tuesday.
Two for Tuesday. That makes sense, and it makes sense because binge later?
That is right, dude. Binge, normal time slot. You know, the holidays are over. No more specialty stuff. 8 p.m. Prime time, dude.
Manny in studio?
Manny in studio. We're talking Golden Globes from Sunday, which, you know, we caught a little bit of, whatever. And then we're going to be looking ahead to our 2025 in cinema, dude.
Wow. Yeah. So that sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, you're pumped for a lot of movies coming out this year, but there's going to be some good ones, dude.
Anything off the top of your head that you would say, I could see you liking that?
I could see you liking the F1 movie, Formula One racing.
Mario Andretti?
Brad Pitt?
Wait, so but F1's, but like what's the context?
I'm actually not 100% sure of the storyline, but it's not based on a true story or whatever. It's just a standalone movie about Formula One racers starring Brad Pitt. Yeah. It's going to be like an original
I
screenplay.
thought they were trying to tell a story with
No.
Gotcha.
I will say, if you're looking for a documentary or a movie about an F1 racer, though, Senna on Netflix, really good, dude.
He was an old-time racer?
He was an old-time racer back in the day. My brother knows more about it because he's all into F1. But this guy was, you know, he was like the guy for a while.
Wow. Okay.
Like, what the hell is the Monaco Grand Prix? The big races, risk your life sort of deal, revolutionized the you know, the sport. I'm not going to spoil his life for you, but it's a tremendous story. What he had.
And Monaco is in Africa?
Where is
or
Monaco?
Egypt?
That's a great question. I don't know. I would have. Let's look it up.
Yeah.
But
Egypt is in Africa.
That's correct. What?
Let's see. I got it. Is a sovereign city-state, microstate in Western Europe. Bordered by France to the north,
and
east and west. So basically, it's all.
That's right, dude. I feel like we looked this up actually one time. I remember hearing that.
Because don't they always have the opening race of the year in Monaco?
I believe that is the opening
it's
one.
Like the best. Like the most heralded race, pretty much.
McGregor watches from his yacht on the water, dude.
Spare me, McGregor.
It would be sick to go to that though, and they're in the streets, man. You know?
Yeah. No. F1, I'm not like I don't like NASCAR. Like fuck NASCAR.
Yeah.
But F1, like it's not like I really watch it, but I do have to say, like the rare times that I have, it seems good, and I could see myself liking the whole. Is it Drive to Survive?
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Now, have you watched much of that?
No, I haven't really.
I just wonder though, because like the actually, okay, so that was like the PGA Tour documentary, but as long as it's not like Hard Knocks, I think has gotten so bad, honestly. Like it's like just as long as it's more real, organic, I can see myself liking it. And a general rule of thumb for me, if I'm watching, you know, something non-sports, live sports anyway, it's definitely for me series or doc over a movie. I think it's just too not organic,
right?
And I think that's a problem. But if it's a very good movie, then that's different. But I mean, there's only few and far
between them.
Of those. I wonder if I would like the new Sophia coming out.
The new
Batman. So, do we know if she's going to be in it?
I mean, nothing's been confirmed, and the movie just got delayed another year. I don't know if you saw that, dude.
Really? So everyone's pissed.
Yeah, dude. And it's just like, I don't know. The DC is has been fumbling their movies for decades, so it's just like what are we doing, dude? You know, a whole year, Brian. It's around 2027 now.
Yeah.
Like the Batman movie came out like 2 years ago.
But honestly, I have to say I've been getting to know the ins and outs of movie production because I've been watching Entourage.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever watch that?
I never watched the whole thing through, but you know, Mike is a big proponent of it, so I've watched quite a bit of it with him.
Okay,
but not the whole thing yet.
No, I have to say I think definitely slides into that number 2 spot right behind Tone.
It's really sick, dude. I don't know if you heard too, but they're the creators of Entourage, not Wahlberg, but other producers
people.
And whatnot.
Levinson, right? Stephen Levinson.
Yeah. They're trying to make a new show, and it's based around Charlie Sheen making a comeback.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude.
With the comeback after the whole thing happened with Two
Yeah,
Men.
exactly. Well, it takes place right now. Like
present.
Like
day.
E is in it, and he wants to produce a new movie.
Wait,
Charlie Sheen's the guy who plays E in Entourage, the manager. The
E.
Oh,
yeah. He's in this?
Yeah.
So is it not coming out for a while, though, or no?
So they've made, I don't know how much of the show they've made already, but they're shopping it right now.
Oh, gotcha.
But I would imagine HBO would pick it up, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that'll be sick. No, that's hilarious that he's in it. Is he the manager?
Yes, exactly. No, yeah, I'm not exactly sure if it's like a direct continuation, but he's like going off on his own, managing whatnot, and he has this new show. He wants Charlie Sheen to be the star of it. So it seems pretty cool, dude. And of course, you know, Charlie Sheen, dude. Like ridiculous.
And I think I'm in season 2 now. I had to say really like enjoying watching it. And just because like the vibes are so high. I feel like you watch so many shows and like the vibes are not high.
This is your first time watching it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And the vibes are like through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because I used to think like, oh, Boardwalk Empire is a good show. Never finished it. That show sucks ass. Honestly, I don't care what anybody says.
Slow.
They talk about it's slow. But what about just a down vibe? Like what's good?
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? All the corruption, the booze bags, the people getting killed, the affairs. Mrs. Schroeder, right? Did you watch the whole thing of that or not?
No, my parents did, but I got out of it. I stopped.
Yeah,
I was like, I
Pete.
can't, dude.
It's Pete.
I mean, it was cool. Atlantic City. They talk about Staten Island a little bit, whatever, history.
They
but
could have
it's
made it
just
so
like,
much better. And I don't know if it's the time period it comes through. Maybe that's why I don't like it. Like, give me right now, and I just love how Entourage has the the real Mandy Moore, like in the show, like
real actors and actresses.
James Cameron, the
yeah.
way that he says
Cameron,
dude. And it seems like Michael's around for that as well as everyone else. What do we got?
Yes, dude, Michael Theophil right now, Entourage, #1 favorite live action show.
Absolutely, Michael.
Absolutely,
honestly,
dude.
I've been vibing out to it. Not gonna lie.
Speaking of vibing, Matthew Gabriel, let's go. And he says Montana. Dude. And then Josh B says what is up, fam? And then Tommy Donovan says Ford versus Ferrari was pretty sick. Movie came out a few years ago.
Pitt as well.
No, Matt Damon. Christian Bale, dude.
Okay.
Are
Christian
you aware
Bale,
of
Superman?
Christian Bale is not Superman. He's Batman, Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. So fire.
So fire, dude.
Was she in that one? Or
No.
Wait, so was she in a Batman, Sophia?
No.
So is she only been in this show or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because she was in Arkham. She was in the asylum during the movie.
Gotcha.
But you should, I mean, again, Ford versus Ferrari movie, whatever, based on true events, though, Le Mans, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Le Mans race, 24-hour race.
24-hour race.
24-hour race, dude. This takes place, I want to say, in like the 70s.
Wow.
Carroll Shelby, I don't know if you know who Carroll Shelby is, but he like revolutionized Mustangs, the Shelby Cobra. That was his thing. He was hired by Ford to beat Ferrari. Ferrari won the race like 100 years in a row, whatever it was. Here comes Henry Ford II. He's like, yo, I want to win this. The racing team. It's a great movie.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about watching that, but it's just kind of, I only have room for so much because as much as like, there are some good series and stuff, but at the same time, like last night, I have to say, and like we'll talk about it in a second, but I was dialed into the FCS championship game, the Washington Capitals game, losing to the Sabres. Are you kidding? Oh, we'll talk about it. And one more from Michael says it helped create the dream that is where we are now with DTV and beyond. And that's awesome, honestly. That is just unbelievable show. I don't. Maybe this new show will be something in the same neighborhood. But I was gonna say I don't see how you top it. Honestly, it's just because like everyone's chilling. Oh, we're golfing.
Yeah, dude.
You know, going to the parties, the this, the that, and it's like, and I was saying to I think it was John I was talking to this about, like when you first start watching it, because obviously you know the premise is Wahlberg or whatever, but you know, like they just seem like younger kids, so it just seems like unbelievable, like that Vince is already like that big. It seems like it's like almost like they're exaggerating, but it's like it's not. Like, oh yeah, like $5 million is not good enough for this movie. I need 10. Like all that stuff. Like, and Ari though.
Oh my God, dude. Ari Gold, obviously. Talk about, high vibes, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
Yeah, so it just that's so funny. The marriage with Ari.
Oh my God, dude. The therapy, dude. Oh my God, his marriage is hilarious.
I did see one therapy session so far. And then Michael also said I should say inspired. Not identical, but inspired. And I would say that's very accurate, Michael. And have to say, great to have everybody in the building here.
Oh yeah, dude.
Kind of it's an interesting time of year, now that, we're into playoff season for football. We don't have any of the weekday games. Everything's on the weekend. I guess technically there is a Monday night game. So more of a focus on basketball, on hockey, right now, and obviously, some college sprinkled in as well. What I wanted to actually start with, because I have to say, it was literally the first FCS football game I watched the entire year, but an absolute all-time classic last night between Montana State and North Dakota State. And I was mentioning this to you yesterday, the tradition of North Dakota State going into this game, 9-time champions, all since 2011. That's impressive stuff, and I thought it was pretty cool that Trey Lance's brother, is on the team at wide receiver, and he had a nice game yesterday. So you love seeing stuff like that, and I have to say, because I know truly what FCS football is. You say like, oh, what's the difference? It's still Division I, but it's lower Division I. And many years ago, when my sister was a cheerleader at Fordham, I went to a bunch of those games, and let me tell you, I know the difference. Obviously, these are people that were probably very good in high school, but when it comes to comparing them to like someone playing at Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, it's just a completely different level of football. But these two quarterbacks last night really balled out. Cam Miller for North Dakota State. He's a 4-year starter, so this is the last game of his career, and kind of symmetrical. Tony started his career winning a championship his freshman year. Sophomore year, they lose in the championship game. They lose in the semifinal last year, and then he wins it last night. So a great moment for him. And he was all over the football field. The 2 passing touchdowns, 199 yards, and 19 of 22. Talk about accuracy. And then on the ground, he runs for 121 yards, including a 64-yard rushing touchdown in the first quarter. So really was just balling out last night. And then I mentioned Trey Lance's brother, Bryce, who's a junior, had 9 receptions for 107 yards. So seems like if he's able to put together, another solid campaign like he did this season, he's going to find himself in the NFL with Trey. And he was wearing Trey's number 5 that he wore at North Dakota State. So I thought that was pretty cool. And you look at the numbers, and again, I know it's FCS, but 75 receptions, 1,053 yards, 17 touchdowns. So that's a lot of touchdowns. And even Cam Miller, their quarterback, admitted coming into the year, he wasn't even his top 3 receiver, and he developed into his number 1 guy. So you love to see that. And then it was pretty cool, too, that the other quarterback from Montana State, and talk about heartbreak, they hadn't won a championship since 1984, but their quarterback, Tommy Malloy, same situation in terms of started as a freshman and actually played against Cam Miller in that championship game when he was a freshman. So he gets to do it all again this year, and he actually won the award. I believe it's the Jerry Rice Award for the top offensive player in FCS. And you look at his numbers, 2783 through the air, 31 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and it is the most I'd say. Oh, that's a freshman player. Okay, so
Most
maybe
offense?
Randy Moss, maybe.
Let's see.
But it was named after some player. I'm forgetting who it was. I gotta look this up. It's gonna bother me.
I looked this up.
Even though I'm interrupting my own thought.
FCS award.
Top offensive player.
The Walter Payton.
Walter Payton Award, huh? But that's also okay. Oh no, okay, that
wait,
actually
no.
makes sense. No,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
it
Walter
does.
Payton.
Yep.
That's what it was. I knew it was after a player, but 31 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Good player.
And we also can run as well. So being a 4-year starter here. But on the ground, he ran for 1,000 yards this year, and 2 years ago also had 1,000 yards. So 15 rushing touchdowns, so 46 total touchdowns. I mean, that's some serious production. But it has to be tough. I mean, they dominated this entire FCS season, going into this game 15-0. But the problem was early on, North Dakota State was able to just march right down the field on their 2 opening drives. And then Montana State, settling for a field goal in the second quarter. And what changed the game, and they talked about it on the broadcast, and they were expecting them to punt. There was like a 4th and 5 around midfield, and they were saying, they should just pin them because you don't want to be down 3 scores going to the half. Sure enough, they don't get it on 4th down. Tony throwing the ball away. North Dakota State drives right down the field, scores a touchdown. Right, I think it was on. Yeah, so it was an interesting situation too, because it's like, what do you do? It was 3rd down. They're out of timeouts. They're at the half-inch yard line.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to either have an incompletion. If you try to run it, don't get it, the clock's going to run out. You're not going to get the field goal unit out there, or even get a playoff. But he finds Bryce Lance for that touchdown to make it 21-3 going to the half. Montana State does come out firing second half, scores on their first couple possessions, but then North Dakota State had the answers, and what it came down to, I believe it was a 4th down late in the game. North Dakota State converts, ends up scoring a touchdown. Montana State answers back with a touchdown of their own, but down 3, and doesn't get the onside kick, and then North Dakota State able to wind down the clock to win their 10th FCS championship. But I have to say, this was, for me, in terms of just excitement, enthusiasm. This mirrored, regular FBS Division I football. It was an exciting time, and like I said, I do love the history of winning, all those championships. 10 since 2011. That's a lot.
Yeah, dude, and obviously, this bowl game here seems to be, one more of the entertaining ones, especially coming down to the wire like that, dude. It is tough, dude. The game expiring punt at the end, dude. But that's great, dude. I mean, I guess good for North Dakota. A lot of talent there to look forward to. I mean, do you think Cam Miller will be seen in the NFL?
He's going to play in the East-West Shrine Bowl game, which is basically like the seniors from all over. So, from a lot of them from FBS, but he's invited to that one. So I think it's one of those things he's probably looking at being a late-round draft pick or an undrafted free agent. But he's going to get his opportunity.
Jets?
He might have to go on practice squads. But, no, he's a guy, I mean, any team would be smart, Jets included, but would be smart to just take a look at, try to develop him. And I was talking about this with Tommy and JD yesterday. If you're a smart organization, every single year, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is, who your backup quarterback is, who your third string quarterback is, you have to draft a quarterback every year or bring one in from undrafted. But really, you might as well just draft one, even if you have to draft them in the 7th round, because quarterbacks are so valuable. You can never have too much. And then the smart teams, they're able to develop a guy and then, they're all set. This guy's going to be a free agent. We're not going to re-sign him. Then they end up trading him for draft capital.
Yeah.
And that's the smart thing to do. And you could say maybe that's what happens with the Vikings this year, signing Darnold, when they signed him, he wasn't supposed to be the starter.
That's right.
So yeah, just, it's interesting, but, definitely we'll be excited, for the draft, which will be here in April. And we have the bite all ready to go. The mock, Jets picking 7th. So it's gonna be interesting. I guess it depends who's on the board. But like if there is a quarterback that maybe is gonna be drafted a little lower, maybe they'll move back. But obviously a premium talent at that spot is always an attractive option as well. But just so many things are up in the air with them in terms of what they're gonna do, how they're gonna build this team. But if it was up to you, Tony, regarding the Jets, would you say unequivocally it's the releasing of Rodgers and Adams, and is it a veteran coach or a new coach, and is it a rookie quarterback, or is it a bridge quarterback, or is it both?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, I at the end of the day, you have young talent on the team that you really want to make sure is happy with their situation. Wilson, Sauce being the primary suspects there, I suppose. And I mean, not for nothing, I would imagine they're not very happy with the status of the team, right? So, I mean, I probably would. I would try and get rid of Rodgers, especially now, man. Again, I don't know if he's, like we said it yesterday, for the whole attention thing. Look at me. I may not be playing anymore. Then if I'm the Jets, if you want to, even if you're bluffing, call it, then you're out, dude. Then you're not, I'm not fucking going to wait 6 weeks for you in wherever, okay, to figure out what you want to do. Like, be a part of this or not. And then, I would go veteran coach. I mean, you're saying, develop a quarterback. When have the Jets done that? You got to, exactly. But you got to bring someone who can do that, Yeah. And not for nothing. Like, I mean, that's the only problem. I don't know who can. I mean, I don't think what coach can. I know, like, again, like I interviewed Rivera. No, I mean, Rex developing a quarterback.
Well, it depends who the offensive coordinator is.
Right. But you need like a very strong, I'm telling head coach who can help a young guy.
Write this down, Tony. I'm telling you, and I've mentioned his name before, but Joe Brady, the Bills offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. He was the offensive coordinator at LSU when Joe Burrow set the record. I think it was 66 passing touchdowns, undefeated champs, Orgeron, the voice. He will be a star at head coach. I'm telling you, the guy knows what he's doing. He got a raw deal. I believe he was in, I don't know. Go look at his Wikipedia. I think he was in Carolina as the offensive coordinator. Was that it? What does
College
it say
stats? Up here.
No, on the right. What do we got here?
As a coach,
was
Mary,
Carolina.
Penn State.
Got fired from Carolina.
New Orleans.
Yeah, and then they rebounded.
LSU.
Quarterback coach took over for Ken Dorsey. But I'm telling you that he will be a star head coach. And he's what? How old is he?
He looks really young. He was
30?
born in 1989.
No, what does it say on the right there?
So he's 35.
Oh, 35. Okay. Yeah. I'm telling you that. I don't know if he wants to leave. He can develop a quarterback. I'm telling you, that's what they need to do. So hopefully they do that.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. It's interesting. I mean, you look at it as a little bit of a career here. I mean, obviously Carolina 1 year, team's garbage. Quarterback's coach for the Bills in the following season, and then it's kind of like interim offensive coordinator. Oh, they like him. Now he's the OC. So clearly he's doing something right. Oh, and obviously it's the Bills, so you're doing something right with the Bills right now. So I mean, yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, I don't know what the deal is in terms of his contract or like if he's going to be available for interviews after the season or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if this is a guy, and not for nothing, 35 years old, it's not like he's too far removed, from the younger players.
Yes.
He can resonate with them and hopefully, develop a quarterback. Because when you think about it, I mean, not for nothing, dude, if I'm, to piggyback over your sentiment, if I'm able to develop a quarterback that I'm taking in the second round, later on, doesn't matter, I can focus on bolstering my offensive line, maybe bringing in some solid defensive rushers. I mean, clearly the Jets struggled with a lot of injuries on defense as well, which killed them. Bring in some more depth there. Obviously, freaking Hassan didn't work out, right? So it's like you got to figure, you got to bolster other things around the team. And if you can get this, like a lower draft quarterback and develop him, like that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, those guys are always out there. And I know we always make a big deal about how high your draft pick is, but it's like as important as it is to have a good position in the draft, it's just as important to pick the right guy. They don't always need to be at the top. So that's just something to keep in mind.
And I feel like the Giants are almost in that same scenario too.
Yes,
So I feel like they have so much wrong offensive line, receivers. Dable, I guess, can develop a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they will. And like I said, if it's not early in the first round, if it's later in the first round, middle rounds, you could still do it. You don't need to be afraid of doing that. And these quarterbacks always just get pushed up the draft board because of the need and the scarcity of the position. But guys are out there. And we mentioned Purdy all the time. He's just one example. Obviously, long time ago, but like Russell Wilson was a middle round pick as well. Of course, Brady way back in the day. I mean, those are just, a couple of guys. So, they're going to be out there.
Are you, like, if you were the Jets, you're drafting your first pick, are you getting a quarterback or are you going somewhere else?
I would say it depends what the scenario is. If it's like, okay, we could trade later back into the first round, get the 5th-year option, take a quarterback, great. But if the guy we like is just not going to go in the first round,
right,
then we're going to take him in the 2nd or 3rd round. Take him where he is. We have to move up in those rounds. That's fine. You don't force it. But like I said, Jackson Dart, I think, is going to, work his way up. So, we'll have to see. But, it's a very important draft coming up. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then just a couple other football notes I just wanted to mention here. I guess the Bears yesterday requested permission to talk to Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys have the exclusive negotiating window through the 14th. So the Cowboys have not answered yet if they're going to let him talk. But like we've said, it seems like Jerry's going to want to keep him. And then maybe now, too, since the Bears are requesting to interview him, Jerry will be like, all right, let's hammer out the short-term extension. But it's interesting. I mean, do you think that would work there with Caleb and co?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I do like McCarthy. And I think maybe with, a young quarterback who he can continue to mold himself, it could work out for sure. I do, though, think like what you said yesterday where Jerry's going to try and like flex and draw this out. So you said they have, exclusive rights to him to the 14th. So whatever.
To the 11th hour.
No, literally, I think it will be. And I think at the end of the day, McCarthy's still going to be on the Cowboys head coach. So, but, obviously, the Bears need to shop too. So.
Yeah, and also I think there'll be plenty of a lot of people have mentioned Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, as a person that might be interested in that job as well. So there's going to be guys that are going to want to take that job and feel like they can work with Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to watch out on that. The Chargers, I guess, are going to add Zeke to the. I don't know if it's going to be the practice squad.
Really?
Let me just see this article, but that did come out late last night. I think Gus Edwards may be out to their practice squad. Hasn't played since week 16. Gus Edwards aggravated it in practice. Means the Chargers hopefully can be insurance in case Edwards isn't healthy. So I guess there's a chance that he might make it back, but if not, they'll activate Zeke. But I mean, the way I look at Zeke is just the fact that it's like, okay, like if you want him to punch it in on 3rd and short, 4th and goal, fine. But other than that, I think he's completely worthless.
And even that, I mean,
yeah, but I think he's okay. Like he's, as a depth guy just for that, whatever. But I wouldn't want to give him any other carries.
No,
nothing that moves the needle.
Absolutely not.
That's for sure. Christian Watson, season-ending knee injury. We tough. Expected that. Yeah. And he actually went to North Dakota State. I kind of forgot to mention that yesterday. So another alum of the Bison, Tony. The Fargo Dome. That actually is something I think we need to add to our road trips. I know it seems a little crazy.
Really?
But that place, 19,000 on-campus stadium, you're telling me that wouldn't be nuts. And then the weather out there, I've met people at conferences, like, it gets to a whole nother level. Like, we're talking, 10, 15 degrees under or what?
Below zero.
Below zero. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wild, dude.
But it looks kind of nuts, right?
Yeah, dude.
Like you would be pumped.
I definitely would be pumped, dude.
Like talk about a whole different world out there. And then Gus Bradley let go by the Colts, their defensive coordinator, former coach of the Jags. The defense regressing. It was his 3rd year on the job, so they'll look to shore up the defense as well as a bunch of other things as they look to return to the playoffs. And then the 49ers firing their special teams coach That makes sense. Jake Moody, all those missed kicks, and then the long snapper, the Debo chokehold. So I think there's a lot of things to clean up there, but that was Brian Schneider, and they literally were 32nd in the league in expected points added on special teams at negative 47.67.
What?
Sounds like some statistic that we would read from the New York Jets, Tony.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. What
Kinda
the hell?
nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I was going to just say, too, kind of surprising that yesterday we only got the Peterson firing. No other firings around the league. I mean, Pierce, it just seems like,
true.
That's a matter of time.
You really think so, though? Because weren't they saying, didn't they win, their 3 games in a row? And then it was like, Pierce kind of looking kind of good, but
yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hasn't heard anything different. Operating as if he'll still be the head coach.
Yeah, they said.
But you never know with Mark Davis. Maybe he's just seeing if somebody's interested in that job.
True.
Or if they can move up to get Shador. But yeah, that would be a surprise to me. And I don't know. I know they were in a tough spot, the quarterback position. But I don't know. I just don't think that's the right move because it just seems like he's going to be, he's going to be let go next year, if not this year. I just seems like it's a mess there in Vegas.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, dude. Ownership crazy, coaching not great, players aren't great. Brock Bowers, great. No, nothing else.
And then Max Crosby.
Oh yeah, Crosby, right.
But yeah, that's really it there. He just said, he hasn't heard anything different regarding his job status, featuring more than its share of turmoil off a 4-13 campaign. So if that's the case, if he surprisingly, ends up keeping his job, you think about the openings in the league now. You got the Patriots, the Jets, the Bears, and what else here? Is that it?
I think so, right?
Oh, but the Saints before, huh?
Patriots, you said.
That's interesting, right? Because there's no other. That would be the only vacancies because it looks like Stefanski is going to stay, and because they fired the offensive coordinator. Oh, and then Jacksonville. I don't think I listed that. So yeah, Jets. So Jets, Bears, Patriots, Jags, Saints. So that would be five openings.
Mm-hmm.
I know during the year, Schefter was saying they were expecting there to be like almost 9 openings, and to have only 5. 9.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that is pretty wild. But I guess you never know. Potential still, I suppose, for Dallas, I guess.
Oh, that's true.
And then
that's
I don't
true.
know. It seems like Miami was talking about McDaniels. I don't know. Maybe they were shopping. I don't know. You think that's any?
I've been under the assumption he's going to stay, and they just need to kind of almost clean up. The team did confirm he will stay.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe not as many openings as we think, but then Tony, that might bode well for the Jets because less openings.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
People want to be head coaches. You have to go to some of these jobs that maybe originally don't jump off the page.
Yeah, sure, and definitely people I'm sure expected the Giants to have a vacancy there.
Right.
They're obviously not too. So, I guess we'll kind of see what happens. Like you said, that does bode well for the Jets, I guess.
Yeah. And then also too, O'Connell did confirm he is not going anywhere yesterday.
Wow. Good for him.
So I think it makes sense. It's worked out well. Obviously, last year was tough because the injuries at quarterback. They're starting their third stringer, Josh Dobbs. So that's why they got to the point where they did. So yeah, that's really what it is for football. Obviously, we'll talk more about the games coming up this weekend as we inch closer, and obviously our first picks of the postseason coming on Friday. But if we could go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it. Yeah.
Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeouts.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So a couple moves on the stove that has not been hot, Tony, for quite some time.
That's right.
Yesterday, the marquee one, definitely a surprise. Or not Oakland, but the A's, because they're not the Sacramento A's, they're just the A's. Reaching an extension with Brent Rooker, the slugger who had over 30 home runs last year, 5 years, $60 million. And I was kind of looking into this because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would he sign that type of deal? But he actually was under team control for the next 3 seasons, so he gets he gets the next, so he gets an extra 2 years added onto that. So that's why they did it, and a bump up in pay there. But he's the guy you would think if he was 39 home runs too. But he's the guy you would think. I mean, he's easily, if he was just a free agent right now, would be getting well over $100 million.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I guess that's good for the A's.
Right.
Kind of crazy. I mean, that guy definitely went under the radar because of that. Because obviously this is a pretty surprise, I guess, spending spree by the A's, I suppose.
With Severino, did they get anybody else?
I want to say yes, right?
Trying to see. Oh, Jeffrey Springs.
Okay.
$67 million between Severino and Springs.
Okay. I mean, that's for them. That's ridiculous. But yeah, dude. I mean, that's a great move by them. It's very interesting. Obviously, they have a lot of, I guess, restructuring and rebuilding. I'm sure it's going to happen to them in the next 5 to 8 years. As they're going to try to be competitive. But it seems like they're going in the right direction, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep Rooker. I mean, he's clearly your top offensive player. And it's a good story, too, because, this article cites that, the deal buys out potential 3 years of free agency for Rooker, who 3 years ago wasn't sure how much longer his big league career would remain afloat. He debuted with Minnesota in 2020, struggled, traded to San Diego in April 2 years later, and then 4 months later traded to Kansas City. Then the Royals designated for assignment, so the A's actually got him off a waiver claim. So, that speaks to almost what we were just talking about with the NFL, with your quarterback depth and stuff. I mean, this move, you claimed a guy off waivers, and he's your franchise guy.
Yeah,
that's
got to develop.
That speaks to, how important, scouting is. And I guess, too, there's a 6-year vesting option for $22 million, but nevertheless, Tony, this is a very smart deal for the A's because you're going to have a guy, like I said, that's worth so much more and you're paying him so much less. And then by the time the contract's over, I mean, unfortunately for Brent Rooker, he's probably not going to get any type of big deal and they'll probably just let him go at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
You never know what'll happen, but I mean, 69 home runs over the last 2 years, that's a lot.
Yes, that's great, dude. It's tremendous production, especially for the A's. I mean, listen, you look at this guy. I mean, I'd want him on my team.
I know. And I actually, in my 18-team keeper league, I'm probably going to keep him. I'm actually kind of interested to see what you would do here. So I have a bunch of options. So you could keep anybody you want, okay? But you can keep 4 total. And my candidates are... obviously, I'm going to keep... So, really, it's only 3 because Judge is an automatic. Really 2 because Alvarez. Obviously, I'm not letting Alvarez go.
Yeah.
So, it's between, for the final 2 spots, Matt Olson, Jason Dominguez, Austin Riley, Michael King, and Hunter Brown.
Oh, wow.
Pitchers, dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But also, even though I haven't won this league yet, I've reached the semifinals a couple times, I just feel like having that loaded hitting in an 18-team league where you don't have that to start, you're kind of scrambling, you're starting guys you don't want. I think Rojas started for me last year because it's so tough. I'm tempted with Dominguez. It's such a big risk though, because who knows how he's going to play. But the fact that he's going to be 21 and then I can keep him for whatever. I've had Judge his whole career. To have Judge with Dominguez, it seems like though that's probably not the right thing to do. Oh, but Rooker's in there too. So really, it would be Rooker would be the third. So one spot for Olson, Riley, King, Dominguez, and Hunter Brown.
I mean, I don't know, man. I kind of am leaning towards Michael King.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, pitching, like I said, dime a dozen.
Yeah,
he starred for me last year. It's just, obviously he didn't get injured last year, but he's had injuries before. That's why I get nervous about keeping pitchers too, because the injuries, like people who kept Spencer Strider last year.
Oh, you're done.
Done. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Matt Olson, Austin Riley.
Matt Olson sucks last year, even though he'll probably do well.
Probably
Riley
will.
had the wrist injury. He's younger, but that makes you nervous. Dominguez is tempting because, like I said, I have him the whole way. But yeah, it's a tough decision to make. I mean, I revamped my pitching last year and it worked out well. But you're basically saying unequivocally, you would go with King for the fourth guy there.
Yeah, I think so, dude.
Who would be the if there was a hypothetical fifth keeper, who would it be? This guy, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but I think April, first part of May, like 6.7 ERA, and then like maybe the best ERA in the majors after that.
Really?
Yeah. He was getting released from fantasy teams.
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, I guess Hunter Brown. I mean, I know you like the Dominguez thing, but
you just haven't seen it yet. But then the whole fact that the keeper, could keep him for literally 20 years.
Ever, yeah.
Pitching dime a dozen.
Yeah, I would go Hunter Brown probably.
Yeah. And then Dominguez.
Yes, and then Dominguez, dude. No, I think at that point I would take the flyer. Dominguez, yes. Judge, that's very nice.
Better year next year, Olson or Riley? Or Dominguez?
I don't know. I feel like Matt Olson out of all those people, to be honest.
It was so weird. How do you go from hitting 50 home runs and then you hit like 220 and just, I don't know. I know their team was all off
due
last
for
year.
Bounce back, dude.
And then you get Acuna back in the lineup. Albies missed time, right?
Oh, yeah, dude.
So I think that played into it as well.
Oh, yeah. The Braves were riddled with injuries. It was tough, dude.
Yeah, definitely was. So, and then there was the trade between the Dodgers and the Reds yesterday. The Reds acquiring Gavin Lux, who a guy that I've never, I've thought he's been really like a disappointment, but I was reading this article, I think last night, and I guess he had like one of the best second halves. It says was one of the most productive hitters in baseball in the second half, batting .304, .390 on base, .508 slug, 2 wins above replacement in 61 games. And is going to be a free agent after the year and only going to make $3 million in arbitration. But I remember years and years ago, it was like, he's the next big thing. Like he was a popular, fantasy guy. But I feel like the numbers, Tony, right? I mean, he hasn't even had 1 year where it's been like, wow, that was a really good year.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. Even talk about. I mean, I suppose he hit for 300, 304 was his batting average second half. But I mean, I guess 26 RBIs. He had 50 on the year, 10 home runs. I mean, I guess he gives you something, right? But I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to write home about, I don't think. Right?
No, but I guess, they gave up some prospects, but I think they're hoping, if that second half carries over, that it'll be, more than worth it.
Yeah, no, I think so. I just think that they're, you just got to, I guess, be consistent,
Yeah, and maybe too going to Cincinnati from Los Angeles. Los Angeles, like I said, being a top prospect. Now you're traded to an organization, Cincinnati, that hasn't won in forever.
Yeah,
maybe just the monkey off the back type of thing.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, dude.
So July and August, really strong, 299, 296, and slugging 552, 523. So yeah, they're hoping to get that type of production. And then you never know with these articles, but I guess I was seeing that the Red Sox are actually seen as favorites for Alex Bregman. And then I'm just seeing this article now that when Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s contract expires, he would love to join the Red Sox, which would make him even more hated than he already is by Yankee fans.
That's pretty interesting, dude. I feel like for the Red Sox, though, those are probably 2 really good pickups. Right?
Oh, and he's a free agent after this season. And they said, basically, what they're saying is if he doesn't get an extension by spring training, then they're saying he's a strong favorite to go there. But you would think Toronto, they struggle to bring in free agents. How do you not just go blank check, basically, with Guerrero? Because I know. Like you're completely you're like the A's, honestly, without Guerrero.
He doesn't want to be there, though. There's no way he wants to
be there. But you don't think grew up in Canada. Also, he'll be there if you're going to, really up the
if you're going to, again, blank check, I'm sure. But I think right now, I don't think it's going to be good, dude. Not for nothing. what looked like could be a nice, like, young team that's kind of on the up, just, after 1 year of being competitive, kind of fell flat, dude. And I mean, I think Vladdy was a big part of them falling flat. It just seemed like everyone on that team just did not do good. Even from the pitching staff to anyone around the lineup, dude. So, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting scenario, I guess, for Toronto. I would imagine, though, other teams, I know we kind of harp on Vladdy, and I don't know what his numbers were at the end of the year, but I feel like other teams do look at Vladdy as more of a asset than we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, because he had that down year, and it was great when he hit almost 50 home runs a couple years ago. But last year, he rebounded big. He had almost 330 and 100.
There we go.
No, he's only 25 still.
Yeah, that is pretty wild, dude. And I know Rick and Dave were talking about the Mets shopping for Vladdy as well, which would be pretty interesting. But again, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, I know he's only 25, and honestly, you're probably going to get good years out of him. But I don't know, man. His attitude, the inconsistency, I don't know.
So you wouldn't want him, you're saying?
Something kind of rubs me the wrong way with him, dude.
And you think Soto, with his diva tendencies, would be bad for his growth as a player?
Maybe. Yeah. I would think that. Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, again, like the way that Toronto's season was going, obviously, past 2 years, especially too. I mean, obviously you're kind of downtrodden if you're Vlad Guerrero, especially like you said, with all the. Adrenaline and the rush of having that big 50 home run, or almost 50 home run season. Maybe a change of scenery. He'll be better, a clubhouse guy. I don't know. It just seems like he needs to be humbled a little bit, especially, talking shit about the Yankees, whatever. What are we doing? I don't know, man. I don't want that on the team. But then again, I mean, like I said, dude, it's just like that weird kind of double-edged sword. I guess maybe if I sat down with the guy and talked to him, maybe I'd think differently. But like I said, at the end of the day, he's probably going to have some career years ahead of him,
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. I really don't want him to. Well, yeah, but just because he's talking shit, literally the only reason, he's exciting to watch as a player, of course. But I really don't want him to go to the Red Sox or the Mets, really, honestly. Just stay in Toronto. With Toronto, we can deal with it because the team, I feel like it's just not going to be good enough. And a big part of that team as well, Bo Bichette is going to be a free agent after the year. Had his worst year of his career. They're saying it's pretty much a lock. He's not going to be back, after this season. So you wonder, does he have things that don't get off to a good start? Do they maybe trade him? But right now, value could not be any lower after not being able to be any higher. Because if you go from 21 to 23, Tony, a WAR of 5.8, 3.7, 4.9, 29 homers, 24 homers, 20 homers, hit 298, 290, and 306. And he's only 26. I mean, I think he's definitely going to bounce back. And they're probably hoping maybe if they're not going to contend this year that, he has a strong first half and they can get a big return around the trade deadline.
What does he play short and second? Does he play second too?
I feel like he has.
I think he has too.
But he's going to turn 27 this year.
Yeah, that is pretty good. I mean, I guess maybe that
he's never played any other position.
No, never.
Yeah.
I guess maybe their numbers were better than I remember. Those two.
Well, because you know what it is? Last year he was so bad. You think, oh yeah, he's done. Whatever.
I remember him being benched for games, dude.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe. But again, I mean, if you're Toronto, are you gonna double down with the roster and just like you said, expect bounce back seasons from both these guys? Would you do that if you're Toronto?
Well, the thing is with Guerrero, I would approach it like I would approach it with Bichette. And maybe if someone's going to give you some, Godfather offer before the season, sure. But I think it would be the anticipation of let's see how we are going into the trade deadline. If we're out of it, we're going to just load up on prospects and then try to get the next wave that we had with these guys,
That's tough, dude. Because again, if the Mets are trying to target Vladdy, it's obviously not going to happen at the trade deadline in the season.
And they're saying he's looking for $400 million. But what if he hits 50 home runs this year?
Oh, forget it.
It's 25. I mean, it's going to be you think 6 or no?
No, there's no way.
5.
Yeah, it'll be 5.
Yeah. Okay. Breaking news.
Oh, hold on. Oh. No, hold on.
The Tennessee Titans have fired general manager Ron Carthen after 2 seasons. So, shown the door here, and obviously the Titans, will have the #1 draft pick. So it looks like they're keeping their head coach, which always, kind of creates an interesting situation because they'll have a new general manager in place. with a head coach that he didn't select. So what has already been, pinned as a big offseason for Tennessee with that #1 pick will only be even bigger now that they need to find a general manager.
Who do you have in mind?
I mean, it's so tough to say with that, but it's interesting. I mean, I know he didn't do a good job with the Jets. Two guys that I feel like that work for ESPN that I would like more so. I have to say Riddick is a guy. I don't know how you feel about this, but I would like to see even the Jets hire him because people are saying, "Oh, I don't want some ESPN." Like he has no, but he has been a director of player personnel before. He's worked in front offices.
Really?
I don't know. I think he's articulate when he's talking to ESPN. I would like to see him get a shot. Tannenbaum is interesting as well. There was the good and the bad when he was with the Jets, and he's helping them find their new GM now. But those are a couple guys that in mind. And then also, I think you never can go wrong as long as they've been there a while and have worked hand in hand with the GM. Go to the organizations that have been having success.
Mm-hmm.
Get somebody from Green Bay. Get someone from Kansas City. Get someone even from Cincinnati. Something like that. Or Philadelphia. I feel like that's the best way to go rather than, sometimes with these recycled guys, I mean, there's a reason why they were let go in the first place.
Any chance you see new GM come in, coaching change after that, or?
You would think that they would, that would be almost like a stipulation. But again, that's where chaos starts, when you do that. So, going to be interesting because obviously they want to get on that because they need to decide what they're going to do with that #1 draft pick.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, dude. I mean, good for the Titans, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Will Levis, dude.
Yeah, Will Levis definitely not going to be there for long. That's for sure. But it is interesting, Tony. There are still, a few bigger name free agents out there. You wonder how long this is going to drag out for. But there's some guys that can really, help these teams. So it's going to be interesting to see. But you would think, being that these guys have been out there for as long as they have, the value is just not going to be there for the player.
Yeah, I mean,
like Bregman, like there's no way, like he's definitely not getting what I guarantee his contract tops $100 million. I know he was thinking 150 plus. When free agency starts.
Yeah, not for nothing. I would imagine that's why he's not signed anywhere yet.
Yeah.
Because he's probably looking for that. Because I have another, he's a good player. Yeah. He should be signed somewhere. But, I guess time will tell. It would be interesting to see him in the Red Sox uniform, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. But, I wouldn't mind the Red Sox signing him and then being like a Carl Crawford type of player. That would be nice. Also, a guy that's interesting and maybe a team we were just talking about would be interesting because this article names him is Santander. That's an interesting name.
Anthony, dude. Yes, it is, dude.
44 home runs last year. 30 years old.
Again, another guy. I'm surprised who's still a free agent.
Yeah.
Another guy. Maybe the Mets.
Is there room though? Really?
No, not really.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think though. Oh, actually, but don't they have a vacancy at designated hitter? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
And technically, they don't have a first baseman.
Technically, they don't, dude. They haven't signed Alonso. No one signed Alonso.
Have you heard anything about that?
No, not really, dude. But I would imagine the reason why it's not signed is because they're shopping for other players right now. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. It's very interesting. I guess DH position. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I would imagine, they're gonna try and fill that. Vientos is at third. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of see what happens here. But it is kind of weird that Alonso hasn't been signed yet.
Yeah. No, and I'm reading this article from NJ.com, and like we've expected, they're saying the contract demands NewJersey.com. And they're using like comparison deals, and they want better deals than Freeman's 6 for 162, better than Olson's 8 for 168, and Scott Boras even using Prince Fielder's 9 for 214 with Detroit in 2012 as a comparison, which is just so I feel like out of touch.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, dude. Not for nothing, just to better than Freeman's contract. No one's better than Freddie Freeman at first base.
And they're saying that the consensus is he will need to do short term with higher average annual value, including opt outs to similar to a 3-year $90
that's
million
what I was just
deal,
thinking.
which I think the Mets maybe offered.
I would think so, right? That sounds like a deal I would snap call. Yeah, sure, dude.
Yeah. So Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I mean, are you like almost in a sense shocked that there hasn't been a resolution with this yet?
Yeah, I am shocked, especially because again, I mean, at the end of the season, David Stearns, we like Pete, we want Pete, Mets, homegrown, the guy, the power. Obviously, had some big moments in the postseason here. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I am kind of surprised nothing has been resolved here. And not for nothing, I would think that, maybe Pete would be a little bit more reasonable about the Mets situation and understanding about how his level of play was way more than lackluster last season. So it's like, not for nothing, dude. I mean, Cohen and Stearns, are looking to have, the World Series in sights. You're Pete Alonso. Like, I don't know. I would take a pay cut to stay on the team, dude. Like, I would.
Yeah. You would think so. And especially if you do the opt-outs, it seems like it works best for both parties, really. So it'll be interesting. And then two things I wanted to touch on before we move on here. Michael Lorenzen back to Kansas City, 7-6, 3.31 ERA, 130 in the third innings between Texas and Kansas City. And they said because of the low strikeout and high walk rates, that's why he didn't get a better deal. There also is a mutual option for $12 million for his second year. So these are the type of deals that Kansas City does. Obviously, not a huge budget. So they're hoping that he continues his success that he had last year. Chris Martin returning to Texas. He pitched for Boston last year, 345 earned run average. He comes back to Texas where he pitched 2018, 2019. So, these kind of, lower end, setup guy, middle relief guys, those are the type of deals that make a difference in a season if you're going to succeed. And I'm sure Texas is hoping for that because obviously they're coming off a very disappointing season where they were unable to qualify for the playoffs after winning the World Series the previous year.
Which is pretty wild. But, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people saw that coming. They did mortgage a lot of the future, the crazy contracts, bringing the people, got it, Bochy, it is what it is over there. Are you anticipating being them competitive this season?
I think so.
Playoffs.
Wild card.
Wild card?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win the division or anything. But it'll be interesting. I think a lot of guys will bounce back there.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then also one other thing, the Rays, there was some uncertainty, but now it looks like the repair will be done in time for the 26th season for Tropicana Field. So it looks like a 1-year type of situation playing at George M. Steinbrenner Field. And speaking of that complex, spring training,
5 weeks,
all this talk, Tony, something like that. But I'm so excited. It's not even funny. I know you feel the same exact way. Like, unbelievable feeling.
No, yeah, I am excited, dude. Definitely a lot of question marks still for me with the Mets. And it's so funny. I listened to Rick and Dave this morning. Dave is like, I don't know why people are panicking as Mets fans. He's like, there's no time to panic right now. It's not the time to panic or to be worried. And
the
I'm like,
pitching staff, the bullpen.
not for nothing, dude. Yeah, man, it is a little bit of a fucking, like, what's going on, know? We talked about Bueller and Burns. Like, what are we doing there?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And then, you had to have a little, even though he was great for the Mets last year, like, what's Manaea going to do in the follow-up season, right?
Yeah. No, what's a lot of these guys going to do in the follow-up season?
Yeah.
And like we just said, Pete Alonso hasn't been signed yet, so.
But percentage that you think they bring him back?
67%.
All right. The tough part would be like what's
the contract?
No, not that. What the plan B would be if somehow like someone gives them some contract that they can't match or don't want
to match. Yeah. At that point you got to look. You probably got to go after Vladdy. You got to get some first baseman, I guess, if you want.
But they don't have the prospects for.
They don't have the prospects for that. You could throw Vientos at first. Try to take a flyer, I guess, at third base.
Bregman, plan B?
Bregman, possibly plan B.
Would you be tight? $150 million.
No,
Pivot.
I would be kind of tight if that was the case. Like Alonso gone, Bregman in. I'm like
Vientos at first.
It's just like not exactly how I envisioned it. But I guess that wouldn't be a terrible pivot. And then you can always try again with Brett Beatty at third. So there's wiggle room, but then you got to address the DH position. Obviously too. So it's like, what's kind of going to happen there? I guess only time will tell, dude. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think it'll happen in the next couple weeks. I don't think, dude.
Yeah.
Because Boris, the contracts, the money, the needs, the wants.
And then last question for you, Iglesias. You think he's coming back?
Jose Iglesias?
Yeah.
Yes. I would want him back.
337 average. Playoffs though.
Yeah, I know, but come on. I mean, regular season, I think he earned a spot back on the roster.
Oh my God. I had to do it. I mean, it was just a good play on words, Tony. Or did you not get what I was saying?
No, the song. I know.
Okay, so I don't know why it's that tight. I would think it was funny. I mean, he's the one that's singing, not me.
Yeah, but you're being facetious. Yeah, dude. That's right.
Crazy that I knew you were going to say that. No, honestly, though, it is a little crazy that I knew that's what you were saying.
Oh, my God.
And then I kind of mentioned this yesterday, but I guess they're saying, like, the sides aren't close on a deal, but an Arise deal is still possible.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see it happen, though, honestly. I mean, to me, he seems like a better version, Tony, of what Jose Iglesias is.
No, yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, I think more, not necessarily better, because I don't know how their numbers compared to last season, but I just think he's more likely to repeat that. How old is Arise?
He is 27.
Iglesias is 32.
or
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, again, like it seems like Arise is more likely to repeat that season. But I mean, whoever team picks him up, I mean, they're going to be more than happy with him.
A career 323 hitter. These are his batting averages in his full seasons: 334, 321, 294, 316, 354, 314.
That's ridiculous.
So
Crazy. Nowadays, too?
Yeah. No, exactly. So be interesting. And I wanted to check because I've been looking at this. So error-wise, so 4 errors. Oh, that's not even. I don't know why everyone was making such a big deal.
About his defense?
Yeah, 5 errors in 69 games. Oh, because I guess
Really?
he plays DH sometimes too.
Oh.
But yeah, that's not. I don't know. I guess he doesn't have crazy range, but it's like what we had to deal with Glaber and the fact that this guy's going to hit over 300. Sign me up for it every day of the week, Tony.
And I mean, the errors that Glaber had, I mean, like.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how he enjoys Detroit. I mean, boy, imagine going from living in New York City to living in Detroit. I mean, that's tough. Dude.
That is really tough, dude. It's
So
unfortunate.
kind of crazy, but this baseball talk is getting me pumped, Tony.
Jacked.
And we'll keep an eye on free agency as we inch closer and closer to pitchers and catchers, which are estimating will start for what some teams on the 12th of next month. So almost a month away. But if we could go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink wide. Made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pasternak. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So a little bit of a light night in the National Hockey League last night. Just 4 games we'll talk about in a second, but this is a good segue. We had a comment from Tommy here saying preemptive pronunciation correction for Rangers waiver claim Arthur Kaliv. So that's his name from the Kings. And I know you had done some research on him, and you'd mentioned, kind of a younger player. He hasn't done much yet. But what are your thoughts on this kind of shot in the dark here for the Rangers?
I really like it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Kaliev.
Interesting. But did I read it right?
No, I mean, I would want to say that Tommy knows how to say it. He just wrote it phonetically wrong.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But I mean, I don't think
He's
it's
so funny with the pronunciation.
That's
He
great,
loves it.
dude.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
mean, you
I'm
got to
saying
be on top of it, dude.
Dude, he's jacked
Yeah.
about it, though. It's just kind of, it's great. It's great. Honestly, it is.
I do like this pickup. Again, to claim this guy off of waivers too, I think is pretty huge. I forget who the guy is. Kyle Burrows, I think, was the guy who was brought up to LA, so he needs to make room.
Oh, okay.
He's a defenseman, I
23
believe.
years old, by the way.
Kaliev.
Yeah.
Arthur.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. Very young.
Second round draft pick, 2019.
And I know not like a ton of sample size, I suppose. But not for nothing. You look at the couple of years. I think he had like 30 points each season, past 2 years. I think this is his fourth year in the league, I believe. And it seems like his mentality as a forward, shoot first, which is great because I mean that's what the Rangers need offensively. Obviously, is someone who can shoot, has the ability, the confidence to when he sees like some space and take the shot sort of deal. Because I feel like for the past, forever, that's been a lot of a complaint about the Rangers offense that they just don't shoot sometimes. They rather pass, look for that perfect play sort of deal. Yes, they've gotten better with that and more offensive production over the years, but to add another forward here, I think is pretty huge. Where in the lineup is he going to fit?
Third or fourth line, they said.
Yeah, but it's interesting because I guess, Brodzinski, who was brought up, but he was brought in to fill the Kreider hole. So it's like, do you drop him? Is it just like fourth line, Sam Carey? I don't know what you do with him. Is it just like an Edstrom? Is not going to call? I don't know.
I would like to put him on the third. That's what whatever you have to maneuver, Tony. Nothing has been perfect recently. Let's give this guy an opportunity.
No, I think you really should, dude. And I think for this guy too, I think he would relish the opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially you're not changing necessarily your market. Obviously LA pretty big, Kings competitive. Like you're going to a Rangers organization that is thirsty for some action. So if I'm anyone coming over, I'm kind of looking at my chops at this opportunity to make a statement. And imagine his first game at the Garden, he scores. Everyone's gonna love Arthur. You know. So that's exactly the opportunity you would hope he can seize. And again, obviously, I'm listening to a lot of, Rangers reporters here, so they're going to talk about all the good things about him. So, we'll see how he can develop with this team. Vince and Molly both like the pickup. Again, the shoot first mentality. They appreciate that the youth, and they think they can have good chemistry. So let's fucking go, dude.
After the trade, the Kings posted, "Good luck in the Big Apple, Artie."
Really?
Yeah, on their social media.
Wow, that's nice of them.
But I guess he was born in
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. Grew up in the U.S. after his family moved to Staten Island.
Stop
I feel like
it.
you missed this, Tony.
What?
When he was 2, in Michigan when he was 13, makes just over the league minimum salary at $825,000. He is a pending restricted free agent. The Rangers have his rights for next season and beyond.
Where are you reading
because
this?
of his age, if they choose to retain him. This is an ESPN.com article.
ESPN.com. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
I can't believe that the oversight by Anthony Materiello.
I don't go to ESPN for my hockey news typically. What the hell, dude? That's crazy. I'm just gonna actually Google that. How about that?
I feel like you're gonna get a jersey. I feel like.
I have to, dude. He's on Staten Island for 11 years.
Are you kidding me? Right there, the ESPN.com article. He's on injured reserve. Dude, was Kreider already on injured reserve or no?
Did they move him to injured reserve?
Well, didn't that tweet just say that?
Oh, hold on. Let's see. This was 3 minutes ago. Kreider placed on IR.
Retroactive to Sunday. And Igor morning skate, so
that's great.
Return pending, Tony? Or?
Pending, yes. I would probably say imminent, maybe. But that's interesting. With Kreider on the IR, I guess this spot's going to be permanently there for, not permanently, but for a little bit anyway. But that's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah.
Moved to Staten Island. I wonder where he went to school for the 10 years. Must have played hockey, obviously, too, I guess, right?
We'll have to do a little more of a deeper dive.
Yeah, dude. Where did he live?
Yeah.
I guess he was born in Uzbekistan, right? Oh, God, I got to go back to this now. No, we're going. I'm trying to see what year this is. So if he was born in what? 2001. Oh, my God. So he moved there when he was 2003. I may have bumped into this guy.
You really could have. You really could have. So that's kind of interesting. So nice to have something. Obviously, we're still kind of waiting for that big fish. But I guess the whole thing with the Rangers right now is we're just hoping. Sure, you want the vets, the Trocheks, the Panarins, the Foxes of the world to step up. But the younger players, I feel like, is the key to turning this season around. The Will Coolies, the Philip Hedels, the Brett Berards, Tony. And then you throw in Artie here. and we could be talking about something. So that's what we're looking at right now, and obviously any future moves that come up, and we'll talk about their game in a second. That's going to be tonight at the Garden against Dallas. But just running down the 4 scores from yesterday, the surprise win in Buffalo for the Sabres, 4-3 over the Capitals in a shootout. And this was a game from the jump. The Sabres scored first. It was just like a back and forth, 1-1 after the first period. It was 3-2 after the second. Capitals, in the last 5 minutes, I think, of the third period, I watched this whole game, tie it up. And then no scoring in overtime. They go to the shootout. Interesting too, Ovechkin was not in the shootout lineup, which is interesting. But I guess sometimes these star guys, right? They don't like shootouts. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I guess it depends too. I mean, a lot of it too is about a coach seeing like who was playing well that night, I guess. But still, that is kind of odd. That
I thought because he didn't call it the first 2, so I thought he would be the third guy. Like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times you need the third leg of the shootout to
close it out.
To hit.
Yeah.
But he doesn't come out, and they
wild.
score the first one, don't score the rest of the time, and then with the game on the line, they let up a goal and then let up another one to lose this game. So kind of a surprising loss, but Capitals, still very strong this year, 26-10-3, 13-6 away from Washington, and Sabres moved to 14-21-5. We had another overtime game, no shootout this time, but Nick Suzuki, the game winner at the Bell Center, so 5-4. And they win this game despite JT Miller having 2 goals and 2 assists. So definitely expected to be lower scoring, but the Canucks, the injuries, continue to struggle. And the Canadiens, Tony, making the run, now 19-18-3. I really think they're a team to watch out for as we inch closer to the All-Star break and into the second half of the season. I think this is a team that could sneak into the playoffs and, dare I say, maybe be dangerous come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. A lot of youthful talent, great goaltender right now, heating up. And I mean, not for nothing, I know we said Canucks struggling with some injuries, but to take one against them in overtime too, I think shows some grit and resiliency, Brian. Especially, you had to score 2 in the third to get there.
Yeah.
So great job by them.
Yeah. And speaking of great job, the Avalanche, after that tough start to the season, continue their strong play. They were down 1-0 after the first period to the Panthers, but score 3 straight to win this one 3-1. Blackwood almost flawless in net, 26-27. And Taves had 2 goals and 1 assist for Colorado. So Panthers, have shown, just some flaws here and there recently, especially some games where they're just not scoring. And I know it was Verhaeghe scored the first goal, or their only goal, of this game. But I've been saying all along, and obviously they played a tough opponent on the road. No concern for me for Florida, but it is kind of weird. But I think it's just one of those kind of like swoons that all teams go through throughout the course of the season, you think?
Yeah, I do think so. One of those swoons, Brian. And also, you're playing Colorado in Colorado. They're a team that is kind of getting back to center for them, as I'm talking about that in their 25-15-1. But obviously the goaltending situation, I think maybe we're underestimating some of the performances that Blackwood can put on. So I guess we'll see what happens. Obviously, Colorado has great defense as well. But I mean, again, this is like a potential, rivalry or matchup we're going to see. And again, 7-game series between these two teams. It's going to go 7. It's going to be competitive. Like it's what's going to happen. I think, like you said, Panthers, blimp, they'll move on fine.
And then another tight game here to finish out the night. The Devils win 3-2 in Seattle. A game that was 2-2. Early in the third period, but Palat answering back after Seattle had tied the game to give them a 3-2 lead, ultimately giving them the game. So the Devils moved to 25-15-3. Seattle 17-21-3. Markstrom, a solid performance, 21 of 23 in net. And overall, he's done an outstanding job since coming over from Calgary here. 28-2 as a starter, 217 goals against, 911 save percentage. So that has really been the difference, after a position that was strong a couple years ago, terrible last year, and now they're getting some of the best play from their goalies this year.
Yeah, which is huge. Obviously Markstrom, that pickup over there from Calgary was obviously very well needed, which is ironic. We're just talking about Mackenzie Blackwood, who was on the Devils and sucked, So it's like it's funny that you see that, but nonetheless, I mean, that's the chalk game. Kraken kind of suck. I think maybe for the Devils a bit closer than they wanted it to be, but still, I mean, that's what it's a win column. So there we go.
Yeah, exactly. So that was last night. Tons of game on the horizon tonight. What did Tommy say?
Markstrom, possible save of the year, he says.
Oh, in the game last night.
I guess so. I did not see it. But I mean, if you want to see it, I can look it up.
Yeah.
So we got going on. Let's go to Twitter, Markstrom. Yeah. I'm assuming this is it, dude.
Yeah, it has to be.
Right? You would think it is. What am I doing here? Here we go. Let's bring this up. The window. Bang, dude. All right, so this is the Markstrom save of the year. You see him on the right-hand side. Obviously, I don't know where he's looking at, but I guess he's probably got the pucks on the right-hand side. It's kind of hard to see. And he's going to shift over. Oh! I mean, that's a big glove, if that is the save. I mean, I don't know about save of the year, Tommy. But then, no, that is a great save.
Just want to see it from this angle.
I know, it's not good because it's like horizontal. Like what the fudge? I know. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through this. This is not gonna work. I think that's the best thing we can get.
Wait. Keep this here. Okay. I mean, yeah,
significant save there.
More of a block, though, kind of. I mean, I guess it counts as a save, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the puck ricocheting, obviously. But yeah, obviously, he has paid huge dividends.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's what it is right there.
What?
So, again, I know
the puck goes up in the air.
The puck goes up. This is, I think, a different shot, I think. And with the stick and with the hit off
the top of the net, right?
Yeah. See that?
But if it doesn't hit the ground, you could still get it. Is that how it works?
Oh, you can swipe it out of the air. Yeah.
No. But even if it hits the net, didn't that hit the net or no?
No. Did not hit the net. It looks like it hits him.
No. What's that white thing?
An opportunity on the back.
Oh my God! Why is?
But you see that? It looks like a towel hanging from the goalpost. Right there. What's that?
Right here?
Yeah.
That's just like the mid post that goes down.
Oh, so it's
like
behind.
Padded. Yeah, that's on the back of the net.
Hit that.
No, did not hit that.
But if it hits any part of the net, it's a goal.
Inside the net.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yes. Of course, that line. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Even if it doesn't, like if Markstrom had to lean back behind the blue line, swipe it out, and the puck never landed, it's still a goal.
So
that's across the line.
If he caught it in the air, but his glove is behind the line, it's a goal. Does that ever happen?
It does happen. And it's actually really interesting because there's been occasions where it's like borderline on the line, and when it's in your glove, you can't see where the puck is, so refs can't really call it. So it gets to be a very, very close call. But sometimes you do see it where goalies reach back for the save and end up falling.
Yeah,
and then it goes in the goal.
Kind of crazy.
Not good, dude. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that.
So big frenzy upon us here, but any one thing that stands out to you, great job by Tommy as always with the hockey.
Absolutely.
But anything that stands out to you with this game against the Stars, I mean, besides the boilerplate, fast start, lots of shots on goal, high energy. I mean, anything that stands out to you?
I mean, listen, this is not going to be easy, obviously.
You've done it before, though, this season.
Done it before this season in Dallas, yes. Yeah. But right now, Dallas 4-game win streak. Obviously, they're very hot. And they obviously have scored a ton. I mean, you look at right here. What is that? 16 goals in the past 4 games.
4-game winning streak, though, due
for a loss. Yeah, for sure.
Rangers due to win 2 in a row. When was the last time they did that?
Oh, God, dude, I don't even know, dude. November? I think they did it in the month of December. And then Stars, I mean, this is the first game. They're back on the road after a homestand.
It was November, by the way.
It was November?
The 14th and the 19th, San Jose, Seattle, and Vancouver. So it's
3
November 19th. But I'm saying,
but that was the 2. Yeah. So this would be the first time in a while, obviously, first time this year as well. Honestly, dude, I mean, I'm gonna stick with my guns on the last game. You want to give Hedel and Berard and Will Cooley way more ice time. And I think that this game is going to start and stop with the hands of Vincent Trocheck. I talked about, him in the last game where he netted a goal. I think he's gonna be the catalyst. He's gonna take a leadership role. I think now. I talk about the interviews he's been doing. I know he doesn't have the C, on his jersey, but I think he's acting like he has one. He seems like he's that guy right now, especially now with Kreider being on the IR. Artie, I know it's like he's had, I think 3 points in the last 5 games, whatever it is. It's awesome. But Vinny T is going to be bringing that energy. I think he's going to be, someone in the locker room to be jacking up the team. I think he's going to be the big catalyst tonight, dude.
Yeah. So let's get the job done, snap that streak of not winning 2 in a row. But what exactly will happen tonight? Let's do a Tuesday Frozen Frenzy.
Yes, baby. Pretty big slate, if I recall.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Doug. We may have a 10-bagger here. And we're starting off usual time. Again, holidays are over. No more special times here, 7 p.m. We're going to Boston, TD Garden, taking on the Bruins here. Bruins are taking on, what are they?
Oilers.
Plus 125 against the Oilers here. Over-under is 5.5. Oilers beat the Bruins early December 3-2 in OT, and this will be the second and last time they face each other. Bruins on the Schneid, 4-game losing streak. And we talked about the Islanders' loss in overtime. Oilers here, 3-game winning streak. Utah, Anaheim, Seattle, not the best of teams. Are the Bruins, helping out on their 12-6-3 home record?
Yeah, this is interesting, and just trying to be objective here, because obviously I want to see McDavid take that next step, win a cup, all of that. Oilers have been hot, but I do think this is a tough game for Edmonton, going to Boston. So I actually think the Bruins will win this. This is a Josh B value play on the money line here at plus 125. So give me the Bruins. I'm gonna say 5-4. So give me the over in the Bruins. Bruins winning in a shootout. Posty taking this one home.
Posty.
What do you got, Tony?
I'm going to go with the Oilers here, Brian. Kind of a little bit of a, tables have turned.
You would have taken the Bruins if I took the Oilers. Don't lie.
I don't know if I would, though, because I will say, Jeremy Swayman, big disappointment, I suppose. Although I guess he's been doing better as of late. But not for nothing, dude. Skinner for the Oilers has been doing better.
Oh, I thought he wasn't good.
I mean, not for nothing right now. One shootout, 2.7 goals against on average. That's, less than Swayman's 2.91, dude. Save percentage a little low there, 898 nonetheless, though. I think the offense here for the Oilers will overtake that of the Bruins. I think in regulation, Oilers landslide, pick it up. Maybe it's tied 2-2, third period. Boston Bruins blow it. Oilers 3-goal third period. They go on to win 5-2. Oilers end the over there. Next game, we're going to Detroit. Imagine going to Detroit, Brian. The Red Wings taking on the Ottawa Senators. Imagine playing at an arena named after Little Caesars, dude. Detroit minus 105, over under 5.5. Detroit, even though the city sucks, the team is on a 4-game win streak. The new head coach, they fired the old one, bringing the new guy. And of course, the Senators, just not playing well, dude. They got shut out by St. Louis. Who does that, dude? What do you have for this game?
Yeah, this is another type of bad streak of hockey about to be snapped here. Great story. Detroit, interim coach, the winning streak, all of that. But definitely give me the Senators here. I'm going to say Brady Tkachuk with the hat trick, the only 3 goals of the game. Yes, the shutout for Allen and Josh B. But give me Ottawa and the under.
I think the Red Wings continue their win streak
Dylan
here.
Larkin, DeBrincat, Lucas Raymond, Tony.
DeBrincat has been a great player. As of recently, I was leading the team in goal 17 here. 101 shots on net for him. Obviously, a guy they feed often. And I just think Senators, I don't know. I think maybe they go down early and just can't mentally get back in here on the road. It's going to be their 3rd loss in a row. Excuse me. I say the net 1 maybe in the second. Red Wings going to win 4-1. Detroit and the under, excuse me here. Next game, third game here. Let's go to MSG. Why not? So the Rangers right now, Brian. They're taking on the Dallas Stars. Next up here on the docket, Dallas coming in here at -170. So Rangers, the value at +145. Yes, what value if you lose? But they're going to win tonight, Brian. Over under 6.5. Tell us how they're going to win.
I think they're going to win because Jonathan Quick, who was part of batting practice last time out against Washington, I think we'll go back to his vintage performance. No shutout, but I think a game that is tight. They win 3-2. Brett Berard, the game winner with a minute remaining. So give me the Rangers, the under, and the
I will second the Ranger win sentiment. I will give a hat trick to Vincent Trocheck. I told you the energy. He's the leader right now. He's jacked up. And I think Quick gives up maybe 1. Rangers go on to win 3-1. Trocheck, obviously, all those goals, baby. Rangers and the under there. Next game, moving on, still 7 p.m. here. We're going to Pittsburgh. Penguins taking on the Blue Jackets. Columbus +130 here on the road. Both teams 17-17. Columbus 6 overtime losses. Penguins 7. And surprisingly enough, the Blue Jackets beat the Penguins 6-2 in mid-November. Do you foresee a similar outcome as the Penguins are on a 3-game losing streak?
No, I do not. The Penguins have been up and down this year, but find themselves 17-17-7. So I think they're going to rebound here. They lost 2 tight games back to back. Carolina 3-2 or 4-3, Florida 3-2.
Shootout OT.
So I think this is going to be, back to the classic Malkin, Crosby scoring, the winning. And I think they win a tight one, 4-2. Pull ahead late, empty netter, Rickard Rakell, Tony. So give me the Penguins here and the under.
I do like the call for the Penguins. I think it is a bounce back here. I think Jari, who hasn't had a shutout all season, a tough year. I don't know if he's getting the start or if it's going to be Nedeljkovic. Obviously, it's been kind of mixed, but regardless.
Jari likely.
Jari likely?
Yes.
Shutout, Jari. Penguins win 1-0. Crosby with the lone goal. That makes his 12th goal of the year, 43rd point on the season as the Penguins snap that 3-game win streak. We're going on to Tampa Bay now as the Lightning at 7 p.m. taking on the Hurricanes. Tampa Bay, a team that we were heating up, but then all of a sudden 4-game losing streak for the Lightning. And they've scored, 5 goals in the past 4 games, excuse me. Hurricanes, you mentioned the OT win against Pittsburgh. They are winners of 3 of the last 5. Looking to get revenge as the last time these two teams faced, the Lightning won 4-1. Are they getting the revenge for the Hurricanes?
So looking at this, I have a tough time thinking that the Lightning, you mentioned the 5 goals in 4 games. They're coming back in a big way. I think there's value here. Usually, they're pretty heavily favored at home, only -105, and it looks like it's going to be Vasilevsky versus Kochekov. But I think Vasilevsky has a great game, and I think Braden Point and Jake Gensel each finding the back of the net here. So a tight game, an under game, but they win 3-2. And Point the go-ahead goal with 10 seconds remaining in regulation. Lightning in the under.
I guess I'll go with the bounce back too. Obviously, tough matchup here. But yeah, Nikita Kucherov, someone 55 points in the year. He's always going to be, it seems, amongst the leaders in points here. So I guess give me 3 more points for him. 1 goal, 2 assists, and I guess they lead on to a 4-2 victory. Lightning snap that win streak. Not very confident about it, but that's probably what's going to happen. Next game is going to 7:30 p.m. Now the Flyers at Wells Fargo will be hosting the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brian. The Philadelphia Flyers here, +110 at home. And you want to look at their last 5 games, They've won 4 in a row. They've lost 3 out of the last 5. Toronto won 4 in a row. They're heating up. So, I mean, at this, is it kind of a chalk situation?
Yeah, I have to do it. I don't care that it was 3-2 2 days ago in overtime. Doesn't matter. I think, though, it's going to be a higher scoring game this time. But give me Toronto winning this one 5-3. Maple Leafs over. Hat trick, Austin Matthews. Let's go.
I mean, I would maybe pick the Flyers to be a dog, but they're plus 110. Not even much value there. Give me the Maple Leafs, dude. Exactly. What's the value? What's the value if you're not winning? Maple Leafs, 5 in a row. Leafs and the under. Wall's been killing it, by the way. And honestly, Urson's been okay, too. So maybe Leafs, I don't know, maybe 3-2. Leafs in the under there. Josh B. Next game here is going to Minnesota now. The Wild taking on the Blues at 8 p.m. ESPN Plus, we can watch this game. Minnesota minus 135. And so far, they've beaten the Blues twice this season. Minnesota's on the 3-game winning streak after a little kerfuffle maybe last month. They're back at it. Blues, we mentioned, just lost to Columbus. They are winners of 3 out of the last 5, though. What do you foresee happening?
Minnesota for days. This might be my lock of the night. As they've won 4 out of 5. And I think maybe close, maybe tie game going into the third period. Minnesota, though, 3 unanswered, 5-2, Wild in the over.
I love that call there for the Wild. Blues, I mean, middling team. Binnington has some poor performances this year. And obviously, Gustafson in net there has been great. And Kirill Kaprizov, I mentioned Hedman, 55 points, league leader. Kirill right there, 50 points. I say he nets 2 goals tonight. Minnesota wins, I'll say 5-2. So it's the Wild and the over, Brian. Let's go. Last 3 games. We're still at 8 p.m. Winnipeg, baby. Canada Life Center Jets hosting the Predators. Winnipeg naturally home favorites here, minus 155. The over-under is 5.5. Regular season series is tied at 1 here. There's the 3rd out of 4 times they'll be facing each other. Both teams have won 2 of the last 5. However, Jets, the 3-game losing streak. What is happening over there in Winnipeg tonight?
Another lock of the night. Give me the Jets here. They won 3-0 last time. They win 3-0 again. So a Hellebuck shutout. Josh B. and Allen. And I'm going to say Kyle Connor, 2 goals and assists. Jets in the under.
I'm going to go with the dog here, I think. This is going to be the dog spot.
Barry Trotz special.
Barry Trotz, the special, the plus 135, a little more value. The Predators, Jonathan Marchessault, on the line with Steven Stamkos here. I think they're going to be doing pretty well. I think that they net, I'm going to say they net 3 goals as a team, or as a line, I should say. 2 of them coming from Jonathan. And then I would say 2 of them coming on the power play as well. Predators win, I'll say 4-2. Let's go, Preds and the over for the money. Let's go. Next game, 10 p.m. Perhaps Brian's favorite matchup here, as is Anaheim Ducks coming in here, or staying here, I should say, in Anaheim at plus 115, They'll be facing the Calgary Flames, over under 6.5. First time these teams have faced each other. Obviously, Ducks, a little bit of a heater, winners of 4 of the last 5, beating Tampa Bay, beating Winnipeg, beating New Jersey, beating even Edmonton as well. What do you see against the Flames?
I see the dog of the night. I know it's only plus 115, but take it all day and twice on a Tuesday, because that's when they're playing.
2 for Tuesday.
So yeah, definitely give me the Ducks here. Tight game, but I'm going to say they win 3-2. Ducks in the under. Terry, the game winner. Ducks, hottest team in America. Ducks in the under.
Honestly, it's crazy here. 'Cause, I mean, Calgary, obviously, better team on paper, arguably better record, no doubt. But I can't see how they could win this game. Crucify me if they do. The Ducks win this one. I'm gonna say 6-2, okay? Flames are extinguished. Next game, last game, another great matchup for Brian here, as we're sticking in California, San Jose this time. The Sharks take on the Golden Knights, and my golly, talk about a dog. The Sharks plus 215. They're taking their 2-game win streak against the Golden Knights here tonight. The G Knights are winners of 4 of the last 5. Golden Knights looking to sweep the Sharks in the regular season after a win tonight. Is that what you're going to see?
The papers in Vegas tomorrow morning. The Knights, shark bitten in San Jose. 3-2 Sharks. Celebrini, the game winner. So give me the Sharks and the under and the plus 215. Also, a dog of the night.
I think I will agree with the Sharks. Let's go for once. I think I'm taking the Sharks with Brian. Alexander Georgiev, former Ranger great, former middling Avalanche goaltender. I say he gets his first shutout of the season tonight in surprising fashion. Yes, the Shark bite, celebrating the story. Great job. Sharks win 2-0. Sharks in the under, Brian.
Just like that. That's your Tuesday. Frozen Frenzy. A lot of hockey tonight. Really will feel just a sense of optimism if the Rangers can pull it off tonight. Love the waiver wire pickup. So let's go Rangers. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
But it's everybody's favorite time of the show, the award-winning segment. It is time, Tony, for a Prism Pack reveal.
Let's go, baby.
Right. Any guesses for you? You're always asking me for a prediction, Tony. Anything from you?
That's a great question. Luka.
Wow. All right. So let's see what happens as we go to the first card here. And this is an interesting one, a player that I'm not familiar with. So this is the underdog story, the rookie card from the Brooklyn Nets, Dariq Whitehead, number 247. So let's see what we got here. Always love a good underdog story. Next up here, a little more well-known name, the former Los Angeles Laker, now on the New Orleans Pelicans, Brandon Ingram. So this is always a solid card. Ingram, the injuries have always been a concern, but when healthy, one of the better, kind of two-way athletic swingman players in the league. So always good to have a BI card here. As we get to our third selection, Zaire Williams. So a guy came into the league, some hype, hasn't lived up to it yet. But definitely has a chance, still young for those Memphis Grizzlies. And a more well-known name, a guy that struggled with injuries, a multiple-time dunk champion, Zach LaVine. So I know we have a couple of these cards as well. Always good to get him in the mix. And then a guy, a newly minted Los Angeles Laker, Dorian Finney-Smith. So he's going to play dividends coming over in the Russell deal. So value could be on the rise, and he's number 99 in this Panini pack. And then to finish out, from the Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Stewart. So that is our sixth pack of cards here. Definitely some sleepers, obviously Ingram and LaVine, the grizzled vets. But some good cards to add to the collection, and 2 packs left. But like we talked about, possibly some hockey cards on the way and some more packs. And I have to say, being a big card collector myself growing up, mainly in baseball, it is fun to get back to this. So once again, we get Whitehead, Ingram, Williams, LaVine, Finney-Smith, and Isaiah Stewart in 2 packs to go in our Prism box, Tony. So this is something where you could have someone come out of this pool that we're not expecting, and it could be gold before we know it.
Yeah, dude, you never know. Obviously, like you two, pumped, collecting sports cards, obviously predominantly baseball as well when I was a child. But to get back into it again, it's sick, dude. It is. And I'm looking forward to hockey. I think Mike and I do some research, maybe.
Yeah.
See who can sell some packs around here. Get some hockey cards in here, dude.
It'll get done. Baseball as well. We got to do some baseball.
Oh, yeah, true. I'm not sure the market for baseball cards. I feel like...
Fuck it. I don't care, dude. There's a market for everything, all right? And a couple Michael Bucktas on the way out here.
Yes, he says, good morning, boys. So grateful to be alive today. Love you guys. Thanks for your unconditional support. Michael Buckta in a little bit of a car accident yesterday, texted us, totally fine, healthy, great. Obviously, we are happy. Yeah, no, literally.
He's okay.
Obviously, we are so happy. Obviously, stoked that he's here commenting on the show. Can't wait for tomorrow night. Gaming Corner, obviously. Barnes, can we watch UConn game tomorrow at 8 p.m.?
It's at 6:30. The UConn game. I don't know if he's talking about the women's maybe as well, but maybe. The men play at 6:30 against Villanova. I'm surprised Michael is not on top of that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We'll get it on some type of screen somewhere.
Yes, and it won't be a huge priority. I'm sorry, Michael. It's the Gaming Corner, okay?
I might bring my laptop and just put it on there.
Yeah, you can do that if you want. Our monitors will be taken up, though.
Oh, our monitors will be taken up?
Yeah, that's right. And then he says during the Gaming Corner, so incredibly thankful for you all. And then Tony, would you mind pulling up a picture of the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland for him?
Do we save it for Gaming Corner?
Yeah, honestly, why don't we just talk about it during Gaming Corner? How about that?
And then Michael's saying, thanks, Barnes. I need to see my man. But I have to say, Tony, once again, and let's definitely go UConn. Pumped to see them play tomorrow. But I have to say, the show flew by. And like I said, interesting time of the year. But it was great. Great talking baseball as always. The big frenzy. It just really will just feel so energized, Tony, with the Ranger win tonight. Like, imagine if it's emphatic too. Like, just embarrass the Stars.
No, that would be great, dude. Trocheck.
Yeah,
Tony, let's go.
So yeah, once again, would like to thank everybody for tuning in today, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, the merch at downtowntv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy Binge Buddies.
That's right. Let's go Rangers!
And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.